Good morning to one and all. I am R.V. Kiran, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Chevron Engineering College. Today in this class we are going to discuss about the one of the subtopic of polymer composites, that is thermoplastics. So in the earlier classes we have discussed about the classification of polymer matrix composites and thermosetting plastics. So we have discussed about the thermosetting plastics also. Today we are going to discuss thermoplastics. This is my 16th class regarding to the advanced materials subject. So we have discussed already about the classification and what is a polymer and what is a matrix and reinforcement and classification of polymers. Cross-linked and non-cross-linked polymers and fibers in polymer matrix composites. Different types of fibers have been studied and the method of polymerization. And we have already studied in the earlier class that about the thermosetting plastics. So today I am going to explain about the thermoplastics. So in the thermoplastics, the polymer and the individual molecules are linear in structure with no chemicals linking between them. That is, no cross links are in between the thermoplastic polymers. So you can see it in the picture, there is no cross linking structure anywhere. So there is a linear polymers in all the structures. So that is a linear section of molecules is obtaining in the format. So this is the linear structures or branched structures, but there is no cross links there. So there is no any type of cross links observed from these polymers. So these are the individual molecules which are linear in structure, and they are also held in place by weak secondary bonds. So that is called as intermolecular force, such as van der Waals bonds or hydrogen bonds. So these bonds are called weak secondary bonds. So you can see it in the picture here. This is the repeating structure. HCH and HCCH3 is the repeating structure. So here it is the first one, and here it is the second repeated unit, and it has repeated third time. So this is the repeating structure of the molecular chain in the thermoplastic polymers. Next, so these are the example of the propylene molecule here. So this is the propylene molecule, and second one is the nylon 6,6 molecule. So second one is the nylon 6,6. It contains the CH2,4 and carbon double bonded with the oxygen molecule. So carbon double bonded with the oxygen molecule and CH2,4. So that is an example of, this is the nylon structure, nylon, and this polypropylene. Polypropylene. So these are the, so there are no cross links in the thermoplastics, and some thermoplastics normally do not crystallize and they are termed as amorphous plastics. So you can see it in the amorphous solids that, so there are no crystalline structures in the molecules, but they do not crystallize during the phase change. So these amorphous plastics are as useful at temperatures below the TEG, that is called glass transition temperature. So you can see it in the picture also. There is a crystalline object. So this is the crystalline structure here, and these are all the liquidous structure. So not as crystalline, these are all the liquidous structures there. You can see it in the picture. And next one, this is the amorphous. So first one is the amorphous structure, and second one is the semi-crystalline structure. Semi-crystalline means some of the parts of the structure are crystalline in shape, and first one is the amorphous in nature, that is not it does not contains the crystalline structure. So generally amorphous thermoplastics are lessly chemical resistant. So when you can see the amorphous thermoplastics, these are very less chemical resistant molecules, so they can be liquids only, and these have very less chemical resistance to the other chemical properties. Next one, we going to the structure of the thermoplastics. So first of all, there is no cross-linking structure in the thermoplastics. When you have been heated the thermoplastics, the weak forces between the polymer chains are easily broken by heating, and these polymers can be molded into the new shape. But regarding to the thermosetting plastics, when you heated the thermoplastics also, it do not melt. So it do not melt due to heating. So that is the basic difference between the thermosetting plastics and thermoplastics. So in the thermoplastics, no cross-linking structure is obtained in the structure, and when you have been heated these structures, it have been molded into a new shape. That is, it can melt by heating. So that is the picture you can see in the picture. So here the structure is in the form of waves, but here the structure when heated, the structure is in the form of a semicircular shape. So semicircular shape. So it has been changed its shape by heating. Next, in the thermoplastics, no crosslinks is between the chains. So we have already studied that no crosslinks have been obtained in the chains. Next one, weak attractive forces between chains broken by warming. So these weak attractive forces, that is no cross-linking structure is there. Some of the attractive forces between the weak chains have been broken by some heating, that is warming. So with applying little bit heat also break this we can break these chains with weak attractive forces. That is the main thing there. Next one, it can change the shape and it can be remolded. So these thermoplastics can change its shape by heating. Next, the weak forces reformed in the new shape when cold. So weak forces can reform in the new shape when cold. When cold means when we are applying the heat, then when we stop the heating, it can be cured, and the weak forces can reform in the new shape when cold is applied. Cold means when the structure is applied, when the recrystallization is done in the new structure, and the new shape is formed when it cold. Next, reasons for the use of thermoplastic matrix composites. So the main reasons for the use of thermoplastic matrix composites are: first one is the refrigeration is not necessary with a thermoplastic matrix. So first one, refrigeration is not at all necessary with a thermoplastic matrix. And second one, parts can be made and joined by heating. These parts can be made by and joined by heating. So we all know that these have no cross-linking structure. So when we applied some heat, these parts can be joined with some linkages in it. Next one, parts can be remolded and any scrap can be recycled. So these broken parts can be remolded and any type of scrap elements which we have obtained in the thermoplastics can be recycled. So the best example for the thermoplastic recyclation unit is the plastic bottles. So the plastic drinking bottles is the have the recycled structure in its shape, so that this can be remolded and it can be recycled. So the plastic bottles can be recycled by any times. Next, thermoplastics have better toughness and impact resistance than the thermosetting resins. So these thermoplastics have higher toughness and impact resistance over the thermosetting resins. Next one, it has very shorter fabrication time. So it requires very short fabrication time because it can be easily molded into another shape, that it it can be melt by heating also. So it takes very less fabrication time regarding comparing to the thermosetting resins. Next, last one is the it can be recycled. So it can be recycled. So these are the reasons for the use of thermoplastic matrix composites over thermosetting resins. So therefore we are using the thermoplastic resins as high as thermosetting resins. Next, the unique characteristics of thermoplastic resins. So the unique characteristics depends upon the amorphous and semi-crystalline structure of the thermoplastics. So first we have observed it in the transition temperature, that is Tg temperature, and second one is the melting temperature, that is Tm. So we are taking the two temperatures here. First one is the transition temperature and second one is the melting temperature. So near to the glass temperature, polymer materials changes a hard solid to soft or tough, that is a leather like solid. Over a temperature range around glass transition temperature, near this temperature the materials the temperature range over a temperature range above around glass transition temperature. So it can be very hard solid to soft solid, then it can convert the hard solid to soft solid, that is a leather like solid in the temperature range around glass transition temperature. Near this temperature the materials is also very highly viscoelastic. So that is viscous plus elasticity in nature, that is viscoelastic. And when load is applied in the thermoplastics, it exhibits the elastic deformation due to the elasticity. So that is viscoelasticity. Then the load is applied, it exhibits the elastic deformation. But with increasing the temperature, the polymer changes into rubber-like solid. That is, we have all earlier studied that the materials can change from hard solid to soft solid, that is a leather-like solid. But here with increasing the temperature, the polymer can changes into the rubber like solid undergoing deformation on external load. So when you have applied the temperature, high temperature on the rubber or any other elastic material, it could be very soft like structure there. Further, increasing the temperature both on the amorphous and semi-crystalline thermoplastics, it can achieve high viscous state and attain the melting temperature at Tm. So that is the Tm is called as melting temperature. So that is the basic differences between the two characteristics of glass transition temperature and melting temperature. So in the glass transition temperature, we use it to change the temperature from hard we change the material from hard solid to soft solid, that is a leather like solid. But when with increasing the temperature, the polymer changes into the rubber like solid, which undergoes the deformation on external load. So that is the unique characteristics of thermoplastics, which we can take the amorphous and semi crystalline structures. So here we are taking the two graphs, that is the variation of tensile modulus with temperature for amorphous and semi-crystalline thermoplastic. So this line is about the glass transition temperature. This is the glass transition temperature. So when we are increasing the temperature, the modulus has been decreasing and the elastic nature exhibits in this area. So we are taking the line here as glass transition temperature. So in the glass transition temperature, the hard solid is converting to the soft leather like elements, and this has been reduced to these structures, and this has been reduced in this form. That is about the glass transition temperature with converting to for amorphous solids. But when it comes to semi-crystalline solids, we are taking the melting temperature. So the modulus is very high here. So when you start the modulus, by increasing crystallinity, it becomes a normal curve which touches the point at melting temperature, and by applying the normal temperature, it will be degrading and melts at that point only. So that is the basic difference. It becomes semi-crystalline and thermoplastics achieve high viscosity state. This is the high viscosity range and this is the normal range. So that is the basic difference between the two, that is amorphous and semi-crystalline thermoplastic. Next, these thermosetting polymers have high strain to failure problem. So when we are going to see the stress strain diagram for a thermosetting polymer, that is we are taking the epoxy as example and a thermoplastic polymer. So we are comparing the both curves here. First one is the thermosetting polymer. In the thermosetting polymer, we are taking the epoxy as example, and in the thermoplastic polymer, we are taking the polysulfone as example. So by comparing these two graphs in the stress strain graph, so we are taking the stress strain graph here. So comparing, first we are taking the thermosetting polymer. So thermosetting polymer rises with normal temperature, that is normal strain, and obtains a brittle nature, and then it is toughened, and it is toughened to a high temperature, that is up to 100 megapascals. So that is the point, that is up to 100 megapascals, which obtains up to 5% of the strain. Next, when coming to the polysulfone, it also starts recrystallization temperature. When the load is applied on it, it becomes up to 75 megapascals after bearing load. Then it it is reduced and becomes to 50 megapascals of 10% strain. So the strain in the thermoplastics is higher than the thermosetting polymers, but the regular graph structure is high in the thermosetting polymers compared to the thermoplastic polymers. So that is the difference between the two in the stress strain graph. You can see it in the picture. Next one is the types of thermoplastics. So we are taking the number of examples in the thermoplastics. First one is the polyethylene structure, which has a composition range of HCH. So HCH is the composition range, and the uses of the polyethylene are tubing film, bottles, cups, and electrical insulation packaging. So these are the different uses of the polyethylene. So we are going to make the plastic bottles and plastic cups with the polyethylene, that is for the general usage, and electrical insulation packaging also for the polyethylene structure. So these are partly crystalline in structure. These are partly crystalline. And next coming to the polypropylene, that is PP. So HCH and HCCH3 are the construction repeated units, and the uses of polypropylene are same as uses of polyethylene, but it is much more lighter and stiffer and more resistance to the sunlight. So these are more resistance to the sunlight also. Next one is the polytetrafluoroethylene. So this has a structure of FCF. The main uses is the by using it in the Teflon. So we are using this material in the Teflon structure. These polytetrafluoroethylene are good high temperature polymer with low friction. So with very low friction and adhesion characteristics. So it have good adhesive characteristics, and non-stick saucepans and bearings and seals. So these have very different types of uses than the regular ones. So the regular ones used for the thermoplastics in the daily uses are the generally the polyethylene or polypropylene. Next one is the polystyrene. So in this polystyrene structure, it has a carbonated structure. It has high carbons and hydrogens in it, C6H5. So that it consists of 6 carbons and 5 hydrogens in it. And the uses are, these are cheap molded objects. So with the polystyrene you can made cheap molded objects that is very low in cost, and these are toughened with butadiene to make high impact polystyrene. So these are making stronger high impact on the production with adding butadiene to it. So you can make good structures to it. Formed with carbon dioxide to make common packaging. So this can be used in the common packaging also by using the formed with carbon dioxide. So by using carbon dioxide foaming, you can use it in the packaging also. Next, polyvinyl chloride, PVC. So these PVC material are used in the architectural uses, highly in the architectural uses, that is the in the window frames, etc. And these are plasticized to make artificial leather, hoses and clothing. So these are the plasticized materials which uses for the hoses and clothing. So HCH and the HCl are the general structure of the polyvinyl chloride. Next one is the polymethyl methacrylate, that is PMMA, shortly known as CMMA. So apart from the polyethylene and polypropylene and polytetraethylene, next polystyrene polyvinyl chloride has amorphous in nature, that is it has amorphous solids which contain a liquid instead, that is it has no crystallized structures in it. So these amorphous solids have is used in the window frames and other extra five uses. Next, coming to the polymethyl methacrylate, PMMA. So it has the different structure than the other types of thermoplastics. So it is highly used in the transparent sheets and moldings, and it can also be used in the aircraft windows and laminated windscreens. So generally highly they are using it in the helicopters and aeroplanes windows. So the fiber or plastic windows used in the aircrafts and um, helicopters are made with this polymethacrylate. So these are also amorphous in nature. So these are also amorphous solid in nature. And last one is the nylon 66. So nylon 66 is based on the partly crystalline structure when drawn. When drawn means when it is pulled by the two ends, it gets a partly crystalline structure. And the uses are, it is used in the mainly used in the textiles, ropes and moldings. So they are generally used in the moldings also, but commonly these are highly used in the textiles only. So when you see the name nylon, you get to recognize that it is a textile name. So that is the preference given to the nylon 66 model. So it is used in, highly used in the textiles. So these are the different types of thermoplastics which we had seen in the polymer composites. So next slide is about the comparison of these three polymer categories. So that is thermoplastics, thermosettings and elastomers. So first one is the behavior, second one is the general structure and last is the common example. So first going to the behavior, there are three types of structures. First one is the thermoplastic structure, second one is the thermosetting structure and last one is the elastomer structure. So the general structure for the thermoplastic is it has flexible linear chains, that is straight or branched, that is linear or branched, because it does not have any types of cross-linked structure in its internal structure. And the example for the thermoplastic is polyethylene. So polyethylene is the best kind of example used in the thermoplastic. Next one is the thermosetting resins. So in the thermosetting resins, a three-dimensional network is obtained. That is, the chains may be linear or branched, but it has cross-linked structure. So a cross-linked structure is obtained in the thermosetting resins when compared to the three-dimensional network. Next, it has the example as urethanes. So polyurethanes is the best example for the thermosetting resins. So comparing to the thermoplastics and thermosettings, that is the main difference. So a cross-linked structure is obtained in thermosettings, but a linear chain type of structure, that is with flexible linear chains, is obtained in the thermoplastics. And last one is, it is the elastomers. So these elastomers have the general structure of thermoplastics or lightly cross-linked thermosets, which consists of spring-like molecules. Because the spring-like molecules can obtained in the cross-linked structure of thermosets, but it has not been heavily cross-linked, but it is mildly cross-linked structure. But sometimes it gets the structure of thermoplastics also. So when you get into the purpose, or when you get in the usage, it has the thermoplastic structure sometimes, but it is lightly cross-linked thermosets. So it have cross-linked thermosets because of it consists of the spring-like molecules. So these spring-like molecules can obtained by the cross-linked thermosets. And the example for the elastomers are natural rubber. So the best example for the elastomers have been natural rubber. So that is the comparison of these three polymer categories. That is the thermoplastic polymer, thermosetting polymer, and the elastomers. So this is all about the thermoplastic structures. In the next class, we are going to see the difference between thermoplastics and thermosettings and functions of the matrix and desired properties and effect of temperature on thermoplastics, stress strain behavior and comparison, and limitations of the matrix. So when we have completed all these functions and these, we use it to complete half of the unit. So that is, half of the unit have been completed in the second unit also. So compared to the first unit, second unit is somewhat very less, have a very less syllabus. So this is all about the common syllabus which we have studied in the first unit also. Any doubts? Some doubts ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయా? డౌట్స్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే అడగండి అమ్మా.
No, sir.
ఓకే. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ అమ్మా.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.